What is going on? It is Wooden Table Talks. We are back with another episode. It is Dad Mode, episode 2, and we got our brother Alan here. Woo. Yo, we are so excited, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. This is great. Thanks so much for having me out here. This is so much fun, man.
Yeah, this is bro. Yeah, bro. And we got Ant-Man with us. Ant-Man, how you feeling, bro?
Yeah, I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great.
You feeling great?
Yeah.
What'd you do today?
Went swimming.
Swimming?
Yeah, swimming. I can swim.
You can swim?
Yeah.
6'10" can swim. 6'10" can swim. Hey, well, here at Wooden Table Talks, we aim to build up young men one talk at a time. We want to laugh, we want to grow, and we want to get community together. So today, we're diving in more into our Dad Mode series. But before we do that, we got new merch. Look at this merch we got here on us today. Yo, and my brother Alan looks the best in it. He is looking great. How does it feel, man? You feeling good in it?
This is nice, but this is soft.
It is soft.
It's soft.
It should be illegal to feel this soft. It is feeling great. Well, hey, get it today. DM us on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you can message us. It is going for 20 each, right? Is that right? Finance guy right here, 20 each. And make sure you get it. We'll get it out to you. Just hit us up, and we'll get you more info on that. And then, what coffee we drinking today, yo?
What coffee are we drinking, Alan?
What are we doing today?
Ooh, I got a surprise for you guys today. Today I brought you guys some cold brew coffee from Gideon's Bakehouse.
Cold brew?
Oh, yes, this is good. In Orlando.
Do we allow that here?
Listen,
Wait, is that allowed?
We're allowed.
That's allowed? Okay.
I know it's different.
Is that
your show, and you guys got the hot coffee. I figured I'd come and mix it up. I want to make a little special thing for you guys. So we got cold brew coffee today in Lake Buena Vista in Disney Springs in Disney World. Gideon's Bakehouse. They have their cold brew coffees, and they are amazing. The flavors, the cold brew, the mixes that they have are all scratch made, man. I think you're gonna really enjoy this stuff.
Oh well, over here. Oh, okay, I see. Y'all can carry something. Let's go try these. I'm excited. Cold brew? I don't know. I'm already.
No.
I'm a hot brew kind of.
Come on, I know.
Give it a chance.
Come out of your comfort zone a little bit. Come out of your comfort zone.
I'm gonna give it a chance.
You gotta give it a chance, bro. It's gotta give it a chance.
All right, bro. All right. So we all going? Yeah.
Okay, so let me give you a little vibe. This is our original cold brew coffee.
Really good,
bro. It's some good stuff, and all that's in here, man, is oat milk and pure cane sugar, man.
Really?
It's a perfect mix. It's got enough juice to it. It's got enough caffeine in there for you, and it's just perfectly balanced, man.
Dude, that tastes fire.
That is so good. That is so good.
Oh,
yeah,
that is good.
That is so
good,
good, bro. No, because I always okay. Usually it's probably because iced coffee in general is just always so, especially I'm thinking Starbucks and stuff like that. It's always coming in. It's like they serve it watered down. It's already served watered down.
It's just a
that was
bitter
full
coffee with ice in it, man. This is made to be
good
cold.
Body to it.
It's brewed to be cold.
That was so good.
Right, not too sweet, just strong enough.
And that was like an original brew?
This is just original, man. This is just plain old original white cold brew coffee, man.
And then just in our styrofoam,
I know, man. You guys go all out here. Obviously, you spend no expense on your budget.
This was so good. That original blend, that was crazy.
Really
what'd you rate it?
I rate it like a 10.
Wow, a 10?
That's perfect.
So
nothing better.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess because if I say like 9 or something like that, that implies I could do or somebody could do something better. And honestly, I don't know what could have been done better than that.
It's been cold brew.
Yeah,
so you just have to go. As far as
the
the cold brews that you know, this is the best of the best.
It was very good. It was very
Starbucks
good.
And
Is this more? We have more. I want more. So yes, what do we got here?
No time here, man.
What? I have to guess. They want us to guess.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That's peanut butter, right? That's peanut butter.
Yep.
Yeah, that's straight up.
Yep.
That's great. Wow. Oh my gosh.
We roast our own peanuts to make the syrup for the peanut butter cold brew. It's made with real peanut butter.
So you get your own peanuts and you actually roast them yourself.
They are not me personally. I'm not roasting, but they roasted.
You got your team there doing it, yeah.
For the peanut butter for the cold brew, and it's also topped with cocoa powder because you need a little chocolate with the peanut butter and the cold brew. Dude, it's good
That's
stuff.
So
man.
good.
It tastes like peanut butter.
It is. It's peanut butter.
It hits every note.
Yes,
every note it hits.
It's so true, bro. So is it literally just called? Is this one just called peanut butter?
Peanut butter cold brew.
That's straight up peanut butter cold brew. Is this it?
This is
Oh
it,
my-
man. This is it.
wow.
Oh
This is
my
good
gosh.
stuff.
Yeah, that dude looks like he's
That's-
off the
that-
cold brew right
That's
now.
Morning Joe.
Yeah. That
You have
sure
to
is
have your Morning
bro.
Joe, baby.
That sure is
You gotta have your Morning
bro.
Joe.
Dude, this is so good.
That is fire.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm very impressed. I did not expect this.
If you're gonna do coffee, you gotta do it right, right?
It's so true. That's so true. That people
Wait.
More?
Oh
my gosh! Wait, bring it, please.
If I'm coming to the
Please,
show,
hold on, I
man,
gotta-
I'm bringing
Yeah,
good
hold
stuff,
on.
bro.
Hold on.
Oh, thank you. Which one is this one? We have to guess it.
I had to shoot down other coffee. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Here's my problem with a lot of the coffees I've been drinking lately is that they claim a flavor, they claim notes, and you get none of them.
Yeah, exactly.
you
Right.
get
No, I
like
agree.
it's
I
hard.
agree,
You have to really drag it out of it. I get it. It's French toast.
French toast. Man. Seriously,
yeah.
it tastes like breakfast.
This is literally
It
a
tastes
French
like
toast
breakfast.
It's like
coffee.
you have the Captain Crunch milk after that, and you just drink all of it.
Oh
Right.
But like 10 times
yes,
better than that.
that's such a good
Wow.
comparison. It is
But
Captain
it
Crunch.
hits every spot.
Or not the cinnamon toast crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There we
Cinnamon
go.
toast crunch.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
I do
Cinnamon
get those
Toast
two.
Crunch.
I do get those two mixed up.
Wow.
There it is. Oh my gosh.
You got extras here.
Yeah, we do. We got so much.
Dude,
I like the little characters on it too.
I know, man. Come on. That's
a very
Joe.
cool character.
Morning Joe.
And Gideon's house, how many locations?
Gideon's Bakehouse, our big location is in Disney Springs in Lake Buena Vista, and our original flagship is in downtown Orlando in the Milk District. In the East End Marketplace is our original location, which is really cool, really intimate. If people want to head out there, man, I'm telling you, it's a great place to go. Check it out. It's a great vibe, that whole area out there. But if you really want to see some excitement, you come down the Lake Buena Vista Disney Springs and you check out Gideon's Bakehouse down there, man.
That's
That's
so
an
dope.
experience.
This episode is not about Gideon,
It's
but
not,
I have
I'm sorry,
questions.
but it's
But
good
I have
stuff.
questions
No, it's
though.
really good stuff.
How, could you help us understand how did Gideon's one location in downtown get into Disney Springs? How did that happen?
Dude, it's a pretty cool story. You know, the cookies itself. It's funny. It actually happened through the Polite Pig. There's a barbecue restaurant in Disney Springs called the Polite Pig, and they had heard about our cookies, and this is back when we were really small, and they just said, "Hey, can we just sell your cookies as dessert?"
Yeah.
And so we just prepackaged them and we deliver them every day, and they would have a handful of them. And within like a half an hour, these things would sell out. People would line up just to get these cookies from the Polite Pig. And Disney eventually just saw it and like, man, this stuff is good. And they invited us to come out. We opened up a place. They gave us a spot, and man, it's been kicking ever since, bro.
That is so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
We've got more.
One more.
There's more.
One
There's
more.
one more?
One more.
What is this one?
More.
Yo, this has been so good. This is actually so good. Wow. This one's much
a kid in
darker.
a candy
This one's much darker. Oh. Yeah. That's Oreo.
Yeah, cookies
Yeah.
are great, man. Dude, it's made with real Oreos, bro. I mean, really crush up the Oreo. With the, you got the cookie pieces, the filling in it, dude, and make it with coffee, man.
blown
That's the
away.
best. Like versus just dipping it in the milk and making it a little bit soggy. You're dipping it. You have it in a cold
cookie
brew.
is already all
Yes.
over coffee.
Yeah, that's
Two
so
best
true.
things there: coffee and Oreo, dude. Like
That's so true.
nothing
on,
better
man.
than that.
See, come on.
Nothing
So-
better than
Come
that.
on, man.
Oh my gosh. And so
Wow.
they only do cold brew at Gideon's.
Yeah, no hot coffees.
And
Cold
do
brews.
they sell these? They don't happen to sell like just like ground coffee.
No.
none of that. It's
Everything
made
comes.
there.
All the stuff comes our original cold brew coffee, and then we add our scratch made syrups into those. And every month we have a different one. We'll have a couple that we always have, and then every month we got something special. We got to keep it. Listen, you got to keep things fresh.
Yeah,
man.
that's so true. What
keep
are the
things fresh.
what are the couple that you usually always have? that
Dude,
are
the
always
peanut
there?
butter, man, that is our top seller, man. That peanut butter cold brew, bro. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves that coffee, man. It is a killer.
That French toast
The French
felt
toast is
like
the
felt
killer,
like
yo.
because French toast like it's breakfast and
Right.
coffee is very breakfast, so they two just feel like they blend together very well. But like so that was one that's not always there. That's like a seasonal one.
We always have the French toast, right? Well, right now things can change up at any time, and
Yeah.
you got to check out the Instagram page and make sure everything is there what you're looking for. But the peanut butter is always there. The French toast has always been there lately, and we also have this, which I didn't bring with us. We have this cookie butter butterscotch one too, man.
You're a fiend for butterscotch. You are invited back.
Definitely. Come on, listen, I figured out a way to get back into the show every once in a while. And I have to bring new stuff to you guys.
So there was the original, there was the French toast, there was the peanut butter, and there was the Oreo.
Cookies and cream, yep.
Cookies and cream, and these are delicious. Recommend. Hit up Gideon's.
10 out of 10.
Gideon's on Instagram, TikTok. What is it?
You got to check out Gideon's Bakehouse on Instagram. Check
That's
out
the
that
handle, Gideon's Bakehouse?
Yep, check it
Gideon's
out, man.
Bakehouse.
Everything we're always posting every time, and we got some special stuff as far as just the coffees are great. But what's really cool with the coffees is, dude, some of them pair really well with cookies.
That makes sense.
The peanut butter cold brew with the banana bread chocolate chip cookie. You have the peanut butter and the banana flavor. The banana, you got the peanut butter banana vibe. You know, so I'm like a
So you guys
cookie
also-
sommelier. You know, with the cookies and coffee pairings. You know, so but it is really cool, man.
That was so good.
See, right?
That was really good.
See, I take care of you guys.
That was
I take care
so
of you guys.
delicious. Gideon's Bakehouse.
Yes.
Go. When you go to Disney, when you go to Disney Springs, hit up Gideon's Bakehouse. Get every single one of these cold brews because they're so good. Those were delicious. I am blown away. I was very impressed. I did not expect that, to be honest with you. Yeah, all of them. I can't say they were so good. I'm not a fan of cold brew either, but those were so
If
good.
you're gonna have it,
I
why
want
not?
more.
Hey, listen, it's hot outside, man. You gotta walk around
That's
Disney
so
in the
true.
summertime, you know, drinking hot coffee.
Yeah, bro. And these 100-degree weather, I need to cool down.
That's right, man.
We'll cool down with some Gideon's cookies and cream
Cold brew.
You know what I'm saying? That was so good. That was amazing. Hey, well, Alan, we got some things we want to ask you about because we're heading into this series. We've been doing this series called Dad Mode. It's Father's Day at the time of recording. Tomorrow. So happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so we're doing a series called Dad Mode, and the whole idea is that, well, me and Aunt, we're not fathers, not yet. Hopefully one day we will be, and God willing. And so we want to learn more about fatherhood and parenting, and I'm sure a lot of viewers out here, they had a child earlier than they expected to in life, or maybe they are looking to do that, or maybe they're not looking to have children at all, but we understand that biblically children are a blessing, and we understand that. And so what we want to do is we want to learn, we want to glean, and we want to ask a lot of questions about fatherhood and everything in between. And we understand that you have a huge history in finance. Is that right?
Yeah, that's huge history because I'm old, so
I didn't feel like that.
you gotta be old to have a history. Yeah, exactly. That's what you're trying to
Just have
say.
some history. You have a little bit of time there.
Back in the olden days, that's right. I drove my horse and wagon to the local bank.
Jesus walked the
And
earth.
with all the shekels we saved over all these years. Right. Yes. I've had the blessing to be able to work in the financial services arena for a long time, and you learn a lot. I mean, especially when listen, money makes the world go round.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't do anything in this world without money, and unfortunately, there's a lot of bad habits out there, and to be plain and simple, the culture that we live in today doesn't really teach us how to use money properly. They actually teach us how to use money for their proper use to make other people more money, not for our benefit.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of times we get sucked into that, and that's where problems can lie.
Wow. So whenever you're not in the banking, now you're just managing Gideon's.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, listen, this is my second career, man. I had my first career, and this is now I'm just relaxing, enjoying my second career, hanging out with
Making
cookies and cakes and cold brew coffees all day.
Cookies and cold brew.
And who wants to
Out the bank.
Dream job.
Come on, exactly. Come on. How can that be bad? How can that be bad?
That is so funny. When you're not making cookies and making cold brew, what's something that you do for fun? What brings you joy? What you do for fun?
Man. Besides the fact that I love hanging out with the family, I love going and doing things. I love traveling. Being in Orlando here, there's a lot of great things to do. But if I'm gonna just chill and spend time with myself, dude, I love Legos, man. I'm a big Lego guy.
Really?
I'm a big Star Wars Lego guy. I got them everywhere. I got boxes of them that I haven't even gotten to yet. I have no more room in the house for them. I'm trying to figure out places to put them, but for some reason my wife won't let me hang the Millennium Falcon from our bedroom ceiling. I don't understand because it would look cool there.
It would. It would look
Space
great.
Battle hanging from the ceiling, and she's got a problem. I don't understand why she has a problem with it, but she does. So, but that's what I like to do. I'll relax and just do some Lego and
That is so cool. That is so cool. I know me and my fiance, we just got for last Christmas we got the Artemis rocket. It's like literally like 2 feet tall.
Yes.
That junk took. We watched 3 or 4 Harry Potter movies, full length movies.
Oh, yeah, man.
In the time it took us, like we watched 4 of them and then we were done. Like building it. It takes a long time, but it's so much fun.
It
it's
is,
so
and
satisfying.
I mean, because there's so much detail on the inside that you don't even, if you didn't build them, you'd have no idea what's on the inside of these things.
Well,
and,
they build them in a way, especially the Artemis rocket. You can see as you're building it, it's like they built this in a way to be sturdy. Like they didn't just build it just to look good.
Right.
They built it to like stand.
Right.
Like I'm putting pieces together. I'm like, why am I doing this? And I'm like, oh, they're building the structure. Bro, it's crazy what they do. The engineering is nuts.
Dude, I love it. It's cool. Plus, you love building, and it gives you something to do. You get your hands into it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's something fulfilling about seeing an end product after you start building something. Maybe it's a man thing. You just want to build.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And I don't want to look at the instructions.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. Exactly.
Bro, there was one. Oh my gosh, we had gotten to a part where we had missed like one piece. And it was like a process of doing the same thing over and over again over hours. And then we realized back like 3 pieces down, which was 2 hours ago.
Oh, I've done that
we
before.
missed one part and we were like, oh my gosh, we have to do surgery on this thing.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Now I got to take the thing apart. We're trying not to remember where you put all the pieces and how it goes back together again.
It was horrible, but we figured it out. Yeah, it scared us, but.
See, I'm glad you guys can do that together.
Yes.
Because, maybe that's because you guys are young, man. You guys are young together and you haven't spent all that time together to where, but it's a good thing to do as a couple. But eventually, you might get to the place to where it's like, you go do that by yourself. Because I get frustrated. My wife will be like, you can just go build that by yourself. I'll go do something else. You're getting too intense.
But the Millennium Falcon.
That's right. They're just Legos, man. They're just Lego, dude. Calm down. Calm down. No, it's not. It's a Millennium Falcon. This is important.
It's not just Legos. That is so funny. That is so funny.
No, that's great. And speaking about Legos, they can also get pretty expensive on them.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, these little plastic pieces, dude. I'm like, those things. It ain't cheap.
Yeah,
it ain't cheap. It's one of those things where luckily you work at Disney. Sometimes you get some good discounts.
True. True. Because they do got a Lego store in Disney Springs too.
Yes,
oh my gosh! You just run down there before you climb.
You gotta know the discounts. Maybe if you know somebody who works there and gets you a good discount. Because those things are expensive, bro. What's not expensive nowadays?
That's so true. That's so true. That's why we're talking about money.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. What are you going to spend? Are you going to buy milk or bread or Lego?
True. Wow.
So how you and your wife as a team approach finances and what works best for your family? And
when it comes to finance, especially when it comes to whether you're starting in a relationship or you're a couple or you've been together for a while, it's something you have to do together. You mentioned, hanging out and doing Lego together or doing anything together. Finances is very important. I mean, it's really true that the majority of relationships break up in this country because of financial issues. They just do. And if you don't start off with a strong financial foundation, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And because it's very common that in any relationship you're going to have one spouse who is great at saving and you're going to have another spouse who's great at spending, and it's just one of those things that where you probably know from any relationships you've ever been in that your girlfriend or your spouse, you guys are similar in some ways, but in some ways you're completely opposite.
Yeah.
And I think that's what brings people together, and I think it's one of the reasons God brings two people together is because there's strengths and weaknesses that each one has, and they support one another. And that's the great thing about being with somebody where God brings you together. And when it comes to finances, if you don't do it together, that's where problems can lie. That's where one person can be spending money over here and the other one doesn't know, and that causes insecurity. That's where problems happen. And money is one of those weird things. We all need it, we all want to spend it, but we all have different ideas on how we should do it. And if we're not in unity, things get destroyed. It's not just money; it's everything else in life. I mean, if it's a business partnership, a friendship, if you're not in unity over things, it's eventually not going to last. Yeah. So when it comes to money, you have to be on the same page, and you both have to know what's going on and have the same financial goals and dreams and whatnot. And whenever you're working towards something, doing it together, having the same goal and the same dream, you get there a lot faster and you enjoy the road to get there,
That's good. You're talking about doing it together. Practically speaking, what does that look like? I know, I'm not married yet. I will be in September, 3 months from now. it was advised to me that me and my fiance get a joint account and do everything together under the one umbrella, under the one. And what could be? Is there any
tools?
Is there any? Well, yeah. Actually, we'll get to that in a sec. Tools. That is a good question. I want to know: is there any harm in, practically speaking, having two separate accounts?
It's funny, and it might be controversial to certain people. Oh, what's mine's mine, what's hers is hers, and vice versa and stuff. But the way I always see it is this. If you are going to be together and you are getting married and you're going to be in a union, two become one. And when one is trying to live a life separate in certain areas, then you've just altered the whole point of the fact of you becoming one with somebody. And if you're going to keep this separate over here, well, what else are you going to keep separate?
True.
And it goes beyond the money. It just goes beyond. It's a mindset. We are either in this together, or why are we doing this at all? And that's why it's so important to deal with these things even before you get into a relationship, even before you get married, because you want to be on the same page. You want to know that we're in this together, we're going to make decisions together, and we're 100% committed. If I was in a relationship, whether it be with my spouse, a girlfriend, or even a business partnership, and they don't want to do certain things with me already, then I'm like, wait a second. If you don't want to, if we're already starting off not wanting to be together, then maybe we need to start digging a little deeper, asking more questions, and understanding the dynamic of our relationship to begin with.
Yeah. Now, I do want to circle back because you mentioned tools, and honestly, that is a very good question. What are some tools, practically speaking, that you and your wife are using to be on the same page, do the thing together?
Right.
What is that?
It's funny because it's going on 30 years of marriage. 30 years ago, working finances and doing your finances and doing a budget, it was called paper and pencil.
Yeah,
that was a tool. My tool was a pencil and a notebook, and you would write things down. But dude, today things are so easy, man. I mean, there's really no excuse not to do it. I mean, every bank has it. I mean, there's financial apps out there. Dave Ramsey and his tools are. I mean, I highly recommend those. To where you can do your budgets online. My gosh, they connect to your bank account. It downloads it for you. There's no excuse. I mean, it's just pure laziness if you don't do it. There's so many resources online. Now, I will say you got to be careful because, I mean, when you're dealing with money, there's always people out there trying to get it from you.
True.
So you want to research out to make sure that you have the right resources and you're getting wise counsel from people when it comes to your finances. But, I mean, you want to get advice from people that are successful in anything in life. It's like getting marriage advice from someone who's been divorced 3 or 4 times. It's like, why am I going to you for marriage advice? You obviously have no clue how to do it. So, and it's the same thing with money. Are you going to go to somebody who is, has they're dirt poor to teach you how to save money?
Right.
When someone's out there spending it all on whatever and they have no discipline with their money, why would you get advice from them?
Right.
You look for people in your life that God puts in your path that have been successful in those areas, whether it be online or somebody you might go to church with or someone you hang out with, and you find out what they're doing. You find successful people in your life to mentor you and give you advice. But there's so many great tools. I mean, online budget forms. You have, if you don't start with a budget and you don't know where your money's going, it's going to leave and it's going to be gone forever, and you're going to have no clue what's going on with it. It's something you have to take control of, and that's something that we've done from the beginning of our marriage, that we've had a budget. You have to stick to the budget. You got to keep reviewing the budget, and it changes over time as your life changes. You have different expenses and you have different goals. But it's like, everybody wants to retire one day, but no one's putting any money away to save to retire, but we all want to retire. So how are we ever going to get there?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, we're trying to get someplace. We don't know where we're going, but we're making good time. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, right.
We're all talking about it, but no one has any clue what they're doing to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What would you say that are the top 3 financial principles for every dad should live by?
It's one of those things. There's just something inherent in most men to want to provide and to take care of their spouse and their loved ones and their family. And finances is something that's really fits that bill. And I don't mean that, the man has to make the money, or the man's got to be the one in control of the finances and things like that. that's baloney as far as I'm concerned. God puts two people together. One of them might have a bigger mindset when it comes to numbers. I don't care if it's the husband or wife, whoever's the one who's better at handling the money should be the main person handling the budget.
Yeah.
So ego is something that's got to go.
Ooh, ego got
pride has to go.
That's good.
It really does, because your financial future is something that God can bless you with if you get out of the way and just do what you're supposed to do and listen to the financial wisdom that not only is in the Bible, but that God has given, men and women wisdom of as far as to help with the money. So you have to let the right spouse or right partner handle the money, but you got to talk about it. You have to be in unity. There can't be any pride, and there has to be open communication. It has to be open communication, even if there's tough conversations. I mean, there's a lot of tough conversations, that, hey, maybe we can't go on this vacation this year because, we're in a little debt and we got to pay it. And that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe this month, man, we can't be going out to start doing Starbucks every day for coffee because we really want to get to this goal over here. That's a tough conversation. But if you don't have those, you're never going to get anywhere. I don't know. I'm a big proponent on the hard times in life strengthens you to give you what you need to get to the easy parts in life. But we all try to avoid what's tough and the hard work. We just want the easy results. But you're never going to get the easy if you don't go through the hard.
Correct.
That is so true. That is so true. No, I guess how are you and your wife, especially when it comes to those harder conversations or identifying goals? I guess that's a two-part question. I'll do the first one. How are you going about the tougher conversations? What is something that, how do you, I'm wary of asking for an example, but I'm asking how are you going about that? How do you initiate that? And how do you identify timing is right to go about?
It's almost like, I know a lot of couples that they'll actually set up, monthly, every 2 weeks, hey, every 2 weeks on Thursday night, we're home, we're going to sit down and, go over our bank statements and take a look at everything and see what's going on, and talk about those. And, that also brings accountability, because again, some people might need more accountability than others. And accountability is not a bad word. It's something to have in your life to help you keep on track. Yeah. Because we very easily can deviate from that. Because think about it. If you and your spouse were going over your finances every week, you'd be a little less hesitant to go out and flippantly, go to the Lego store and buy another box of Lego, because then I have to, then when we go over our finances, we'll see, well, we don't have as much money to put in the savings this month. Do I really want to hurt my family for the Lego? But if we don't have those meetings, you just go get the Lego, you do it, you put it aside, no one knows about it, what's the big deal? And then it just, you wind up hurting yourself and hurting your family by hiding things. Ooh. So you really do need to make sure that things like money are dealt with and talked about, because it doesn't just go away because you don't talk about it. Yeah, it actually gets worse by not talking about it. So it's the same thing too, when your relationships struggle in any area. If you just pretend it's not struggling and you're just going to go on doing something else by yourself, it's not going to fix it by avoiding it. It's just going to make it worse. Yeah. So is your financial future something that you're really interested in? Then you got to do what you got to do. You got to step up, man up, and do what you're supposed to do, and get yourself on track again. There's nothing. Listen, we all make mistakes. We all screw it up. We all make bad choices with money, and we make bad decisions. Man, in 30 years, we've made plenty of bad decisions when it comes to money, and bought things that we probably shouldn't have bought, or a car we shouldn't have bought, or this or that. That was we look back and that probably wasn't the smartest financial decision. Well, listen, we all do that. You learn from it. So you get back up and you don't make that same mistake next time. Yeah. You don't beat yourself up over it. You learn your lessons, because that's what life is. Life is lessons, and money's the same thing. You just keep living, you keep doing the best you can, and you learn your lessons as you go. So eventually you're starting to make wise decisions, and it just becomes second nature to you. Then you don't even think about the fact, do I really need this or need that? And you don't have to worry about it anymore. But the smart thing is that eventually if you do that, later on in life, you've made so many good decisions in the past Now you got the money and go buy Lego anytime you want to.
Yeah, true. That's true.
So when is the best time to have kids?
When is the best time to have kids? Financially, when's the best time to have kids?
Financially and spiritually.
That's that's a great question. It's funny that people ask that question. When should we do this? When should we do that? I often hear that question even asked for people. When should I get married? When's the right time financially for all? I often think this. I don't think there is a specific time to say, well, okay, if we get here, if we save up this amount of money, it's time to have kids. The way I always look at stuff like that is that if you're constantly just waiting for a specific thing to happen in your life, it's never going to happen because there's always more money that you might want to have saved up. There's always something else or better job. You're like, oh, if I just get to this job, we'll be ready to do that. If I make this amount of money, we'll be ready to do that. And that you wait for those things, it's very easy for the enemy just to say, listen, I'll just make sure they never get there. Or the fact to where you're thinking to where, life happened, and if you're just waiting for something, the best of the best to happen in your life, it might never come about, and you just wasted all of these years. I kind of look at it a little bit differently. It's more about the fact of planning and having a plan and having disciplines already worked out. Obviously, there's no such thing as perfect. There's no such thing as, we're ready, okay, let's do this. I mean, hey, wonderful. You win the lotto, beautiful. No big deal. You don't have to worry about money no more.
So true.
But for the majority of everybody out there, we have our day-to-day life we have to live, and we have our jobs, and we have our money, and we have to plan. It's more of a discipline and a plan together as a couple and saying, hey, listen, we want to make sure that we have the financial disciplines set up in our life to be able to handle it. And I think that's really what makes it the right time. Do we, are we in a place to where we're in agreement with how we handle our finances? Are we able to pay all of our bills? Are we in a place to where we're doing okay? I think some of the things that you need to, red flags, if you can't afford to support yourselves, you really need to think twice about it's time to have kids because children are expensive. It's an added expense. Yes, children are wonderful. They're a blessing. It's great. But you're also called to take care of and raise, your children. And having a financial foundation to be able to provide for them is very important. Now, obviously, we know things happen. Sometimes, kids come and they're not planned. And you have to work through that, and it's not that it's not impossible to work through that. It might be a little bit more difficult because things were unplanned, but it doesn't mean that you don't step back and say, okay, now what can I do differently here? How can I now step back, make a plan, and then start moving forward again? There's always a way to look at it. There's no right or wrong. It's just really all about planning and making smart decisions and using wisdom, whether it was something that wasn't planned or something that, hey, we want to get there, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. How does the planning process look for that, especially if you talked about be in agreement, be united with your spouse about what are we going to do, once a kid comes, how does that planning process look like financially though? Are you setting up, accounts, savings account, you saving into certain things, like practically speaking, like how does that look?
It's one of those things too. It comes down to setting priorities. And when you have children or you're planning on having children, you need to be in agreement on how you're going to raise the children and the certain things that you want for them. Like, for example, we decided that we wanted our kids to go to private school. Not that, we were like, oh, we got plenty of money, let's just send them to private school. We just made a decision. We didn't want our children in public school, and we wanted to put them in private school. But private school is expensive.
Yeah.
It is not cheap. So we had to make a decision that if that was our priority, we now have to make financial decisions in our life to where we, where are we going to cut back to make sure that we have this money? Because it wasn't coming from our savings account or things that we already had saved up to be able to pay for it. It's something that we had a budget for. And if that meant that, well, we may not be able to go on vacations like we used to go before, or maybe we couldn't eat out as much as we did before, or, we had to have cheaper vehicles or older vehicles than we wanted to have. Those were decisions we had to make because our children were the priority. And I really think that if you're not in a place to put your children as a priority in your life, then you really have to really think about if you're really ready to have children. When you're talking about finances, you have to understand that you are now giving up 18 to 20 years of your life as a couple to raise these children. And it's a huge financial expense to raise children. And you have to be okay to sacrifice financially in your life to provide for those kids, to raise them up the way they should be raised, and to set them up for success. I think everybody, you have your children, you love your children, you want the best for them, but are you willing to sacrifice for their benefit? So I think that even goes back to the question he had about when do you know that you're ready? Well, are you really ready to sacrifice the next 20 years of your life for these new life forms that you're about to make? And if you're not, then maybe you're not ready.
Wow. That is honestly very simply put.
So there's a saying like, it takes a village to raise a kid, right? Now, what does that look like, though, from a spiritual aspect? Like,
the great thing about it is community is really everything. And one of the great things about raising your children is having other like-minded individuals and families that have kids around your same age that you are with, whether it be at church or what other community groups you're in, or your groups that you go to where you guys can all be like-minded and be supporting one another. It is so important to have like-minded individuals to be there for, support you for, to pray for, and go through life together. Anytime you try to go through life by yourself, it's hard. You're just making life more difficult for yourself. Being connected to a great church or a small group or a group of people that can support you in ways spiritually and friendship is so important. And it does take a community. It is great I can think back in my life that we had really close friends that were like aunts and uncles to my children. And they had great impact on my kids. My kids still saw them as aunts and uncles, and they had the same mindset of us. And they would, when they were hanging out with the kids, they would, support our decisions. They were always there, and our kids saw that in life, and they were able to see other families and how they did things and how they raised their kids and their financial decisions that other families make. And those are all learning experiences that you are imparting into your kids to give them the foundation for the future, because the financial decisions you make as your kids are being raised are the financial disciplines they're going to pick up for their life. So if you're not paying attention to your finances, then neither are your kids as they get older. They're not going to see any value to do that either. So you either set them up for success or you're setting them up for failure. And that doesn't mean that that you're rich or you got tons of money, so your kids are going to have tons of money. It's disciplines. I don't care, if you're living paycheck to paycheck or if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in your account. A financial discipline is a financial discipline. And you need it regardless. So it's very important to impart those in kids, and seeing how other people in your community do it is extremely important.
For someone who grew up in a poor financial modeling home, whether that's lack of knowledge of how to handle money or fear, how do you break the cycles as you're growing into becoming a dad or even a young man?
I mean, that's a great question. To be honest with you, unfortunately nowadays that is more common than anything. Unfortunately, finance isn't taught in schools at any age. So most kids are going through their schools and college and having no idea how to manage money because nobody's ever taught them. And a lot of people coming out of households where family members struggle. I remember when I was a kid, my gosh, I don't think we ever went on I think we went on one family vacation my entire time as I was a child.
Wow.
Because, my parents were living paycheck to paycheck. It was a divorced household, not a lot of finances. And so we just didn't have, I didn't have the best clothes, this, that, and everything else. It was all, but that was the life we had. But growing up, eventually I had a decision that I had to make. It's like, well, you either, if you don't like the situation you're in, then you gotta make a decision to get out of it. There's really no excuse nowadays. If you don't like where you're at, first you got to realize that you don't like where you're at. Because I think a lot of times we get comfortable in the fact to where my financial situation stinks. It's always going to stink. It's just going to be the way it is. And you get stuck in that rut and you never leave. And unfortunately, you probably see tons of people like that they're just never going to get anywhere financially because they don't want to. They like their misery. They like to live in that. But I think by knowing that that we are blessed and we are given opportunities. Even like this show talking about this is a tool and a piece of wisdom people can use to help knock them out of that rut, to say, okay, well, maybe, I can get there. And it's step by step. It's not something that happens overnight. It's the little small decisions made every day that eventually become huge results afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's not like, okay, I might be living paycheck to paycheck now, or I consider myself poor or whatever. You're not going to become rich overnight. There's no such thing as that. It's slowly moving over and getting farther and farther over time. You have to understand that it takes time, and you got to be okay with that. Understand that mistakes aren't a bad thing. Repeating the same mistake over and over and over again, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So give yourself some credit. Give yourself some grace and say, listen, I'm trying my best here. I might be messing up every once in a while, but I'm still getting back up and I'm trying. Give yourself credit for that and keep going. And again, surround yourself with good people that are around you, people that have made good decisions financially that you can get advice from. But you can't give up. Giving up is the only time you ever fail. There's no failure in life unless you give up.
True.
Life is supposed to teach you lessons. So let it. Let it. Don't beat yourself up with it.
That is so good. Well, hey, I believe we are coming up on our time today. But Alan, thank you so much.
Awesome, man. I had a blast,
thank you so much for all the wisdom bombs and the knowledge drops, and also the cold brew was a that
I tried, man.
was so good. We're gonna go have some more. So we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us. Peace.